I saw you standing there the first time that I laid my eyes on you. I couldn't get you out of all the thoughts I had. And now the end is near, and I just couldn't seem to get it right. I guess it's time to go.
Back for another episode of the Coast Boys podcast. My name is Izzy.
I'm Gabe.
And today we're joined by Jeremiah. Jeremiah, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm good.
You're good? So to everybody that doesn't know you, you want to just explain a little bit about yourself?
Jeremiah Heim, the founder of 1LFC Mendo. That was a youth program we built here on the coast to go play competitive ball. Today, I'm just Jeremiah Heim.
It's Jeremiah Heim.
Father of three, work at Safeway right now, pay my bills, take care of my kids, and see what the next step is for footy out here.
Yeah, the grind.
It is a grind.
But we know you, like you just mentioned, from 1LFC. Do you want to just, or Gabe, do you want to explain your first memory of that? Or how it all started?
Dude, I'm trying to remember how it did start, to be honest. But it was a soccer club, and I don't know who reached out to me, if it was you, because I didn't know you prior to that. So
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know
we
who
met.
connected me to you, but yeah, it was a place for us to go play soccer, play club on a more competitive level, and that's something that we weren't really familiar with because we grew up in a small town. So we would just play all the small schools. We'd play Willits, we'd play all the Lake County schools and whatnot. That was fun, but we'd run all over them. We were much better, and so that was the first taste of playing outside in bigger cities. And like, man, there's competition out there.
Mm-hmm. And that was something I will say, that growing up here, nobody really made an effort to try to link us to the outside world past Fort Bragg and Mendo County and stuff like that. You know, like you said, growing up in school, at least when I started playing, it was a local thing. Nothing going out of town to Santa Rosa, to San Francisco. I think Redwood City was the farthest we went with you at my age group. But again, nothing like that was here. And that was something I will say, I think you were the innovator about all that.
Yeah, how did that start? How did that come about?
Well, the Coast Youth Soccer League was here, and they did have travel teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the highest level they reached was like Division 3.
But the Coast Riptide, I remember I played with them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How it came about is we moved out to the coast from Ukiah, and my first coaching experience was in Ukiah. I coached like U6, and a lot of people called up and tried to get Shy kicked off the team.
Why is that?
Because he was scoring like 14 goals a game. They said he was a ringer. That was cheating. But he was actually like 6 months younger than the rest of the team.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then we moved out here, and we signed him up to play CYSL, and I met Coach Shepard from Mendo High at camp. And my first experience here, I was just a parent. I was helping. I wasn't even really coaching. And at the same time, I met the forum online of 1LFC, Alex and Jamie Baholi. And I really, the live beautiful, play beautiful, that mantra really stuck with me. Like, you know, my translation of that is live the way you want to be seen, play the way you want to be seen as a person. Like, I think they reflect upon each other. And I think it fit our community here really well. And my first experience was Enrique Ruiz was on Fernando Gordon's team in CYSL, and he kept slide tackling Shy from behind. And I walked across the field, and I told Fernando, I was like, you got to get that kid off the field. He's going to hurt somebody. Now, mind you, I wasn't a coach. It's just a parent, middle of the game. And Fernando was like, no habla inglés.
Damn.
We became good friends, and Rudy Russell played for me on the Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it started. And I was like, how I grew up in the Middle East, which was a formidable part of my soccer playing as a kid, culturally it was different. I didn't understand like the rec league. I didn't understand it. I thought there was a better way to play ball. I didn't know anything about club soccer in the United States. Never coached. But I'll never forget turning around to walk back to the other sideline, and the look on Shy's face that day changed my life. Like, I embarrassed. Like, I was the worst thing that ever happened to that kid at that moment.
He was embarrassed by that?
Of your dad walking across the field to yell at another coach about something happening on the field during a game, yeah, I'd be embarrassed.
I'd be embarrassed.
And he was 6. And that's kind of like the day where I decided, well, if I'm going to do something, I got to learn how. So I started my soccer education, and it coincided with meeting Alex and Jamie Vaholi in 2010. They threw it out there online about who wanted to build a youth program based on that mantra, and I was like, I'll do it. I was like, live beautiful, play beautiful. That's us. You know what I mean? That fits here. It fits the coast. It fits everything I'd experienced about living here. It's like, that's us. That was built for us. And I just head down, and I have a bunch of other parents had kids Shy's age, and then I ran into you guys, and we just went with it. It was like, there's a better way to play ball.
I'm trying to remember what grade I met Jay. 'Cause I don't remember, like...
It had to be high school.
I think
It was because I didn't start playing until like
sophomore year,
my sophomore year, or my freshman or sophomore year.
Yeah,
But like I just don't remember like
2012.
what tournament we went to first,
Well, it's
or
really
when we started practicing.
It's really strange, right? Because Udi was one of the first players that I helped, per se, but I never trained him. He didn't play for us. But then the next gen would be Hector, and he did play for me and play with us, right? So it's like, because there's the 4 years of high school, there's a, you know, and Angel and all those guys. So there's a difference in age, like 1 year plus 1 year minus, where some guys didn't, you know, River, Rain. So everybody went through it at some point, you know, Shell and Robert helping us or coaching with us all the time. So it's like, it was definitely a community effort to make it work. I mean, the expense of travel soccer is huge, and we self-funded. Like, our community here, all those sponsors on the back of your jerseys, that's someone's mom or dad and their hard-earned money that helped pay for us to go play ball. Like, other people believed in it more wanted it to be here more than we wanted to play, and that's what made it work.
Yeah, I do remember that you were really good at getting the community support. Had a ton of sponsors on our jerseys, and you always tell us that like this community is like backing you guys, and that was extra motivation. You're like, dude, that's sick.
I never really understood that though. When I was
mean, at
that
that age,
playing,
yeah, you don't really appreciate that.
I was like, cool, there's a bunch of names, whatever. Like, I want to play ball. Like, that's all I can think of when I'm at that age. But now looking at it back, it's like, man, like you said, that's somebody's parents, that's somebody's uncle, it's somebody's who's putting money into this because they believe in the kids, they believe in the program, they believe in the future of these kids growing up.
And you don't really
awesome.
understand how much it costs too to go play in tournaments, to register for the tournament, to register a team.
How much does something like that cost?
I think it's more like, once you grow up a little bit more into the working world, you realize that time equates to money. You know, it's an expense. Like, you buy your time.
Definitely.
And it's like, we live so far, time is a lot. You know?
Like, you have to take days off work and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And or just time to get anywhere.
You're traveling 3+ hours to get to any decent tournament.
Dude, and a lot of times for us, it would take more time for us to get to the game than the actual game itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
most times, yeah.
that sucks. There and back too. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the right there is more than the actual game, and then back as well.
Yeah, plus hotels, plus food, plus supervisors if you need somebody.
Jay, I remember one time, I was telling Gabe, but one time I went, this is when it really switched for me. Because before, like, obviously you have, like how Javi was saying the other day, it's like, oh, growing up, I'm just like, oh, I'm probably just going to play for Madrid or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really have ambition. And you don't really have, a path to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You just think if you continue to do it, you're going to get there eventually. But I remember when it really switched for me was, I think, the end of my senior year or my junior year. But it was a spring ID camp at St. Mary's of Moraga.
I was there.
You were there. You took me, yeah. And it was probably my worst like soccer experience, but it was like such a huge learning experience, because before then you do have like ambition to get to that next level, but you don't really have an understanding of the competition outside of this small community. And the really cool thing, like kind of going back to like the community kind of backing you and supporting you, I was like telling Jay like, hey, there's this ID camp, and he's like, yeah, I love it, let's go. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like figure out how much money I'm gonna need. And then he hits me back up, he's like, don't worry about it, it's taken care of. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I need, my parents want to know how much like money I need to have, you know? And he's like, the ID camp's taken care of, gas and money, like staying, like hotels, everything taken care of. And I just remember like, damn, that's sick. Like, that's dope, you know? Like hell yeah. So we go, me and you stay in a hotel there. We get breakfast in the morning, go to the camp. And literally I was the worst player at this camp. And I just remember like rondos at the beginning, bro. I had like that when we play and I have a kid in rondos, like, oh, this I'm like, this fool has season tickets in there. You know what I'm saying? Like this fool's always in the rondos, always messing up the pass. He's always in the middle. And I was that kid. I was always in the middle. Like my partners, it's like, step here, like get back and get the ball. Like I didn't know any of that. And I would always just be in the middle. And the kid that was whoever was with me in the middle would get mad at me.
Pressure cover
Balance. The simple, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that. All the drills would mess up.
Shy was there too, that camp.
Was he really?
Yeah, we took Shy everywhere, remember?
I don't remember if he was there or not.
Yeah, every ID camp everywhere.
And I just remembered like everybody was laughing at me at this camp. It was like the worst experience ever. And me just thinking, dude, if I can't even play at this camp with like high school kids, like there was freshmen, sophomore, juniors in high school. And I was just thinking, dude, like I'm a year away from going to college. Like there's no way I'm going to play at that level. And that was really when I understood like the competitive aspect of it. And that's kind of when that switch happened. And like ever since that, I was just working towards getting at that level. But I was never exposed to that competitiveness until that camp. And I just remember the whole ride home, I was just bawling, I was just crying my eyes out, bro. And I just remember like, this is the worst experience ever. And that was the first time I ever like played against people and just like wanted to quit. I was like, dude, fuck this.
Defeated.
I'm like, yeah, I felt defeated, man. I was like, dude, I'm not good enough.
Shy's favorite game in his career until today is a 1-0 loss to Real Madrid.
In Spain?
Yeah. They lost.
Did you say why that's his most favorite or most memorable one?
Because you're playing against kids his age that are vying for a spot on the first team. Raul de Blanco was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Raul came over and shook his hand at the end of the game. You know what I mean? It was just, that's his favorite game. They held Real Madrid. And not as good as Barca's youth academy. Barca's team that year was ridiculous. And who else was? Levante was really good. But, you know, and it was a bunch of kids from all over the world that had never played together or trained together until they met that week.
And are they from the States or are they from over there?
From all over the world, the kids that he played with for their.
How did you get involved with something like that? Or
A lot of trial and error, trying to find ways to get him abroad. Shy's been going over to Europe since he was 12. The year we sent Alex, Shy, Angel, and Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was awesome when you guys did that.
Where'd you guys send him to?
They went with the U.S. Revolution program out of Texas with Coach Gary. They went to England that year.
Uh-huh.
They played in the Nottingham Cup.
How'd they do?
They took first place in the second bracket. First place or second place? I don't remember. I wasn't there. So Shy has it at home.
But they did all right for themselves.
They did. That was his first exposure to like ball. Like, you know, like one of the teams there was the U13 national team from Ireland. Like he said, they're ridiculous. They're crazy. And like that was his first exposure to
like that level.
So not only that level, just I think culturally, like, you know, if you're wearing your kit and you're walking down the street, you're a player. You're not a kid just wearing a soccer jersey walking down the street. Just a little bit, mentality is a little bit different culturally for footy over there as opposed to here. I think here it's growing. It's just, you know, we're 200 years behind on that one.
What do you think is the biggest difference?
200 years.
200 years. That's
But
it.
like
You
what?
just need time. But
like what's different culturally?
Is it
Like,
mentality? Is it
200 years.
oh, like the sport being over there?
You know, cities today that were villages back then when the club started, that club has been culturally part of those cities for 200 years.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that for now we just need time? Is that what we need, or what do we need to get to that level?
I don't know about if it's getting to that level, because I believe that soccer has impacted the thought process. Like, hopefully maybe someday I'll finish my PhD and write my thesis on it. But I think soccer has changed the way people think into a non-linear thought process for thinking, and we're not there yet here. All of our sports, everything we have here, and I'm generalizing. I may be incorrect. I don't know, but I think ours is linear. It also translates into their culture and their economy, their everything, like how they think about things. They solve problems ahead of time instead of, oh, what do we do after it happens? So I think it's changed the way they think. You know, 200 years of having a 360-degree mentality thought process changes the way you think as a as a being, as a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting how people that experience the sport in another country always have that to say, that the U.S. is always behind. But like growing up here, you're like, how are we behind? I don't understand it. But like when you do have like Grisak, when he was on and he was like telling us like the differences, I never really thought about it until that, when he mentioned kids now are realizing they can just do online school and play for like the Oakland Roots. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I need to go to school to play at a competitive level? Like it's like a money pit. You know what I'm saying?
I also think soccer over there is normal. It's not like, hey, let's go call everybody up and, whoa, we got to get organized to go play. It's just normal. It's just part of everyday life.
Yeah.
Whether you're dribbling a tennis ball in the house or you're walking down the street, or it's just part of everyday life and has been for 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's normal. Here, it's still something that we have to go do.
Yeah, it's like plan it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just...
Yeah, I feel that. He was saying that too. That like over there, you just see people all the way, like all over town playing in the little retas and stuff. Like, you don't see that here.
It's also a skill set. It's a job. So here, a part-time job is Starbucks or your local hardware store or Safeway, or you turn 18, you go get a part-time job, or even in high school, a part-time job. But over there, soccer at 15 or 16 or 17 is a part-time job.
I think the biggest thing is when you're over there, you can see that if I'm good enough at this skill, which is we're talking about now, soccer, I can get a job there. You can see yourself, okay, I can play for that club and they're going to pay me X amount of money.
Right.
Here, you can't really see that. You can't. I mean, growing up here on the coast, especially, like, who am I going to play for?
Well, even in the United States system, we don't have promotion and relegation, so it's not set up for that. In a promotion and relegation system, the best players will always rise to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we don't have that. So there's no incentive to go. And nothing against the guys who are playing USL 1, USL 2, or any of those players. They're players. They love the game no less than the top players in the world. You have to believe that. That's why they're playing. That's why any of us play.
Totally.
But the incentive is different. At 14, 15, 16 years old, and the players that Shai was playing against 2 years ago, they're vying their best to get looked at for the first team at 16, 17 years old. Right? What is it? The Celtics, they have a 14-year-old playing. He's one of their top goal scorers on the first team.
14,
15, yeah, he's unreal.
Yeah, it's not set up like that here.
It's insane.
No. Here we're set up because our sports go through college as the monetary system. Soccer is not set up that way. Soccer, your prime real estate between 15 and 21. That not to mean you can't make it afterwards, but that's
He's wasting years.
Well, not to say that you can't make it, but that's how it's set up. It's not set up through a college system of another 4 years of waiting. Prime real estate, And then there's, oddballs like Ibrahimovic at 39 who can't be beat. So,
Yeah, he's just gifted though. He's a freak.
Well, he's dedicated his whole life to being the best he can be at that specific skill set.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a skill set. It's a job. It's a job. You can go anywhere in the world, 2nd, 3rd, 4th division, if you're good enough, and get a paycheck. It might not be $250,000 a week, but it's somewhere to start. And because of promotion and relegation, if you have an impact, you'll rise to the top. That's how Mane made it.
Where did he start at?
4th division in France. Every team he played on won their division and got promoted.
Just imagine if it was like that here. Well, the thing about Europe too is like you're traveling across what seems like in the United States, across the states, but you're going in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like here, you have to fly somewhere else to get an opportunity.
Here, it would almost make sense to set up, like, each state have its own state team, and then from that build a national team.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to scout.
That'd be sick.
Like if they had the United States competition, and every state had their best players play, but you need a promotion relegation system for that.
Nobody's going to do that.
Well, one of the reasons we can't is because the lower level teams that don't have the money can't afford to travel. So it's, again, money based. But if they set it up, I think you could set it up differently here. If they treated the United States from a soccer perspective like it was Europe, where every state is its own, because that's how the youth associations are set up.
Mm.
But then you'd have to get everybody on the same page. And when money's involved, that's always hard.
Yeah.
This is the hard part. Transitioning over to you, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about what it was like growing up? Because you grew up in Israel. For those that don't know, for a little bit of your life.
I grew up here and I grew up there.
And what was that like? First, where were you born?
I was born here in the United States. I was born in Chicago, and then we lived in Israel from when I was about 1.5 till I was 3.5, and we moved back to the United States. And I grew up in Austin, Texas.
So a lot of different places.
Yeah.
A few, and then both my parents were in college then, so my parents were young.
Okay, they were in college in Texas.
Yeah, my dad's like 18 years older than me.
Jeez.
So
Holy smokes, that is crazy.
So I remember my parents in school and doing homework, and my dad working nights and whenever he could.
And what was life in Israel like?
Today as an adult, it was normal. It was part of my life. The kids are adaptable, so you just adapt. Initially, it was hard. I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anybody. And we were foreigners.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how they chose Israel.
It goes back to my mom's family and where my mom grew up.
Mm-hmm. Did you grow up there?
Yeah, half her life, like half and half, like France and in Israel, back and forth kind of thing.
Dang. And how'd you end up in Mendo County?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do. My good friend Billy Hetherington from Willits, we met in LA, and Christine and I, we our third kid on the way, and we'd had enough of the city and just wanted out. So Billy and the extended family, everybody reached out, and we moved up here, and they all helped us start.
That's good. Do you think you're going to stay here rest of your life, or where do you see yourself?
I don't know. This is the longest I've ever lived in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it though?
It's quiet.
I do, but I grew up in the city. So
Yeah.
I like the city.
Other side of
But I like it here because it's quiet. Like,
what don't you like about the city?
today, it's just more crowded.
So many people.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. I hate traffic. Like, I'm so used to no traffic that when I go just to somewhere like Santa Rosa, really no traffic. Compared to like San Francisco, compared to LA,
Yeah.
I go crazy.
I have bad road rage.
I hate
Really
it. I
bad
hate
road
it.
rage.
I hate being stuck at lights.
Yeah.
I hate being stuck behind cars on the freeway.
That's because you could drive here for 2 hours, and the most traffic you run into is 4 deer and a possum. It's like,
It's always out-of-state plates. Don't get out of the way.
Yeah.
Hold up the line. Do you see yourself living here long term? What do you want to do?
Not long term, I don't think so. I definitely want to try city life out for a change. I mean, I grew up here. It's kind of like reverse. You grew up over there in big cities, and now you're in the quiet town. I grew up in this quiet town. Now I kind of want to switch over to the cities.
What was Davis like? Was it a city?
It's small. It's smaller. It's like in the middle. But it was like right next to Sac. So anytime I needed to go big city life and I wanted to go out or whatever, I drove 20, 30 minutes to Sac.
it's also different, like Sac or some of these places. Like big city, you need to go like New York,
Oh, yeah, that's a big city.
LA,
Chicago,
Paris.
LA. Yeah. That's another
Shy
beast.
likes city. He especially likes London. Copenhagen, he said, was interesting.
Dude, that's so cool that he's been so many places.
He's been all the way to Sweden to play ball.
That's insane. That's so cool that you're doing that for him.
That was the toughest trip of his life. That one was hard.
That Sweden trip?
Sweden?
What team was he playing with?
He was 14 that spring, and he flew all the way to Sweden by himself, which is halfway around the world from here. Coach Pele met him at the airport. He'd never met him before, and he had to stay in their house and live with them and go to school. And then Pele said it was the coldest spring in 100 years. So it was like 21 degrees, and they rode their bikes to school. This poor kid from California, and the snow, and then he got pneumonia.
Oh, my
Jeez.
God.
How long was he there for?
He was there for almost 2 weeks. He almost came home. It was hard. He almost said, I'm coming home, but he didn't. He stuck it out, and we're glad he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've talked about it a few times over the past year or two, and you can see where he's starting to realize how important that trip was to his life, but it was a hard one. I think it's the most important trip he's ever taken, but I have more life experience.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I could see it was really hard.
Yeah, I bet.
He had a blast playing. Made some friends.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's such a young age to feel so homesick like that.
I
you
can't
know?
imagine. Yeah. Kind of like talking to Chris Dog.
yeah,
When he told us that he was, how, 15?
I think 15, yeah.
I was like, that's
He's
insane.
like the youngest one in the house.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that's something I always admired is you'd always, every time I talk to you again after playing in a tournament or something, he's like, oh yeah, Shai just came back from Mexico. Shai just came back from Costa Rica. Shai just came back from all these random places. And I'm just like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, he's always around the world doing something. And I'm just like, and it's always because he's out there playing soccer. He's out there playing, footy.
Right. If nothing happens in his career from here on out, which is none of us in this room hope that, but I honestly believe he can say that footy has already given him an amazing life.
Totally.
I traveled at a young age, but it wasn't for something that I wanted to do. It was because my mom decided we should.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he's gotten to follow. It was something he wanted to do, has provided him with an avenue to experience. So it's different.
Did he ever tell you, I want to be a professional soccer player? That's what I want to do? Or is it something kind of just his passion?
He was 4.5 years old the first time he said that. The only time he's ever said that.
4.5 years old.
Yeah.
You say less. Sign him up for every team.
Like,
that was the right answer.
And it wasn't I want, it was like I'm going to. Like I remember it definitively. Like I'm going to play pro ball, and that was it. And then everything since then has been based on that statement.
That's awesome.
Where's he at right now?
Westport.
He's in Westport? He's here in back? How old is he?
He's a senior. He's 17.
Really?
He was supposed to, like, COVID shut a lot down this year for him and a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
It's been really hard.
Yeah. What was he doing before COVID?
He was supposed to be, when COVID first started, he was supposed to be in Spain again playing at Villarreal with the International Prospects Academy.
Since they reopened everything, they haven't reopened the youth academies?
Right now, Americans are not on the favorable travel.
Yeah, we suck.
Really?
Yeah. Like
We can't wear masks.
even to get into Spain right now, we have to get a visa, which is something we didn't have to do before.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Americans are.
How long is that visa process?
It's paperwork, and it just takes effort and legwork. We haven't needed to do it right now because he's not traveling. Yeah, Americans have been put on a pretty much worldwide ban.
Yeah.
Because of our handling of the COVID situation.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Something that we don't like.
Yeah.
But after high school, what's he gonna do? What's the plan?
His plan? It's his plan. I hope he goes to play for a year. I hope he goes over to the International Development Academy with Coach George and gets an opportunity to just be around playing ball with like-minded individuals. He likes the soccer in Spain. He likes Coach George a lot. I hope he goes. I've seen him put forth a lifetime's worth of effort, sacrifice. Not more or less than any other student athletes, but I think growing up here, you guys know it's just that much more time. Every time on the road is that much more time you're away from doing stuff with your friends or what everybody else is doing on a daily basis. So I hope he goes. I hope he takes a gap year. And just find out what you're made of. Go put it all, eat, sleep, live, breathe, train, weight room, nutritionist, train, everything. Just be in a professional environment and see where it takes you.
Yeah. The good thing is that he has the resources and he has the support.
Totally.
That's half of it right there. Because a lot of people, I feel like, don't have that support.
Absolutely not, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially here in the States, like you say, it's a big financial thing, big money thing. That's a lot of times what impedes an athlete's like path to get to that next level. It's not having enough money to be able to pay for tryouts, to be able to pay for the gas, to be able to pay for the food.
And it's weird because you should like there's certain things where you're like you shouldn't have to pay. If I'm trying out, why do I have to pay to try out?
Yeah,
There's
I
certain
always thought that
things-
was so stupid. That bugged me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's we are a basic family, so money for us, if we're paying for one thing, we're just like any other family, just like your parents, and we sacrifice as a family as a whole, and no different for him than any of the other two kids, Shemesh and Shemaim, and when they find their path, they'll do the same thing.
Dude, hopefully he makes it.
I mean, I've done that for other people's kids, so my own.
Yeah, did it for us.
I don't think it's hopefully he makes it. I think at the end of the day, I just need him, and as parents, or we just want him to be able to turn around and be like, yeah, I gave it. I think he'll make it, but I'm biased.
I think so.
I
I think that what you're about to say, like, as long as he tried, I feel like that's the most important thing.
As long as you gave it your best effort.
Yeah,
You know,
as long as he tried.
100%.
No, there's a difference between trying and doing. As long as you did, don't just try, do. There's a difference between trying to do something and doing something. I think as long as he can look back, no regrets. I did.
That's the biggest thing. No regrets.
You know, I did. And that's why I'd like him to go for a gap year. Because here, no matter how hard we've worked in his current club, Santa Rosa United, no matter how hard they've worked in programs like the International Prospects Academy that he's worked with and the International Development Academy that he's worked with, he's yet to eat, sleep, live, and breathe 24/7. Everything's been, well, I got school, then I have to drive, and I just want him to be able to not have any distractions. Go play ball for a year, put it all on the field, and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that, man. Even, I mean, I wouldn't say I could relate, but like even just being in school, like I feel like our performance as like college athletes could be so much better if you're not having to worry about study hall and grades and school, and if you could just kind of like live in that professional environment. I feel like.
Well, that's why you're a student athlete, not an athlete student.
Yeah.
College environment's a little different.
I feel that.
And if he makes it, he's going to have a whole lot of tickets. He's going to have to cough up for World Cup 2026. There's a lot of us that are going to want to go see him play.
Dude,
That'd be so sick.
I think we're gonna be like 30 when that's here.
Hey,
2026.
hey.
Yeah.
6 years, 30. Yeah.
You're gonna get it all.
Did we have to go?
I want to go to the Euros this last year, and then it got canceled.
Weren't you supposed to go?
I had a plan. I had it all planned out. I was gonna go to the
plan.
Euros,
I had a
and then
plan. Who are you
gonna go with?
Just,
Who are you gonna go
I
with?
was gonna go with Alan. I was gonna go with Chava, and I was gonna try to go with Edgar. We were just see, and then
Really?
Just
Where was
didn't
it
happen.
gonna be held at?
it was. Where was it?
See, you weren't even that far in the plan.
No, it was.
Dude.
No. But I mean,
You
isn't
guys
it-
haven't changed.
Yeah, I don't know. I had we were looking at the tickets and everything. We're looking at the best matches, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna drop money on a really good matchup, and then we'll maybe we'll watch it.
Don't they have like bundle packages?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like we were just looking at it very
Yes.
briefly.
They do, right?
but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Shai's first pro game was Barca Chivas at Candlestick Park.
Was that the one where Fabian scored a bicycle kick? Dude, that was crazy. I remember that was all over the news.
4 or 5.
He was 5?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
That's sick.
What was your first pro game?
First pro game. Soccer.
Yeah.
I think it was America versus Leon. I think, and it was at San Jose.
Really?
That was sick. Yeah, they won 2-0. America won 2-0. It was a sick ass game.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Soccer?
That
I think with Shai.
Barca one? What
Yeah.
year was that? My first one was the Madrid America one at Candlestick.
Madrid, America.
And that was in 2010, right after the World Cup. That was sick.
This had to be right around then.
I think it was.
Because he was born in 03. He was like maybe a little bit before. Maybe 2007, 2008.
No, I want to say it was after. Because I remember that game and I didn't watch. I think I was watching soccer when that game happened. It had to have been after 2010. Because it had the thin blue and red. I think that was when Villa played with them.
No, because he was like 5 or 6. So maybe. No, it had to be before.
Really?
Because 2003 plus 5, 2008, 2009, somewhere in there.
Yeah, then I'm probably wrong. I don't remember.
I think pro soccer wise, my first game was with Shai.
Really?
Yeah.
What teams do you go for now?
Barca.
Really? I thought you're a Man U fan.
Oh, him or me?
You.
Yeah, I'm a sorry United fan.
That's so funny.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Dude, so many of my friends are United fans.
I
It's
hate
weird.
United fans.
Well, I picked
Except for you.
United because my best friend at the time was a Chelsea fan. So I was
Chelsea's
like, okay,
cool.
I'll be a United fan. So I've just been a United fan.
I hate Liverpool fans.
Oh,
Aren't you a Chelsea fan?
Yeah.
yeah. Don't you know that? No, yeah.
I hate Liverpool.
I remember he used to wear.
Only when they win.
Only when Salah dives. Oh my goodness.
Shy's a Liverpool fan.
Izzy, I'm sorry to hear that.
I like Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan. Only because when I started watching it, Andrew would always be like, dude, Gerard's the best. Gerard's the best. Torres is the best. So I'd start watching it with him.
And then,
And
Gerard,
he got me into Madrid too.
Gerard's killing it as a manager. The
Where's he
Rangers.
managing at?
The Rangers.
The Rangers?
Oh yeah.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
Are they in first place? Damn. I didn't know that.
That's sick.
I think they have like a whole lot of wins and a couple of draws since he's taken over.
Really? Dude, he was such a good player. Gerard, the 8.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Where did you get all your soccer background from? Was it just from playing? reading
I
books?
never played organized soccer. I played in the streets growing up
Where at? In Texas?
in Israel.
In Israel?
I remember, I think I played maybe a little bit of like rec in Texas as a kid, but I don't I don't think so. I think mostly just in Israel.
Why didn't you ever play organized? Was it an option and
No.
cost money?
Our life in Israel was a little bit different. It wasn't exactly priorities.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. And then once you came to the States, you didn't play any organized sports or anything? Well, like, what direction were you going down?
Once I moved here, I just worked in my immigrant class. I worked with all the other Israelis in the moving company. He used to drive my dad nuts. He's like, dude, you're an American citizen. Like, you can go to school, you can do this. I never understood that. I guess I understood it. Like, I knew I was born here, but I didn't know until later. The highest level I've played college was Mendocino College. Was the highest level I've played. I got hurt that year. It sucked.
Yeah. What'd you hurt?
Yeah, what'd you?
My knee.
Dude.
I hyperextended my MCL all the way to the point of ripping it, but it didn't rip.
Oh, shit.
So I got lucky. No surgery, no nothing. I'm fine. I just couldn't finish out the season.
Damn.
But I was 39 that year.
Damn, 39, you went out to play. That's awesome.
How was that?
Ask Shane. It was fun. I didn't miss a day. I made the team.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Dude, Gabe, that could have been you, dude. I'm telling you.
Stop.
You could have been there. You could have known what it was like.
I know there was like 40 something of us the first day of summer ball, and there was 24 of us when fall rosters came out.
They just weighed themselves out.
22 players and 2 keepers, and our team won conference that year, and no one's beaten our record since. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Sucks. What sucks too is that a lot of those players from the first year, all of them could have played the second year. And only like half of them came back.
What's cool now is Mendocino College, Hector is coaching, and 2/3 of the roster there are our players.
He's coaching Mendo
That's
College?
so sick.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What happened to Shane?
Shane's there. I believe Hector's like stepping in.
Dang.
Shane
Good for him.
Shane coaches at the high school, and he's the director of the academy. Shane has a lot.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah, he's really busy.
Dude,
So
that was so much fun playing there.
Yeah, something I've never told you. I don't know if I ever said thank you for that trip to San Jose that you took me and Junior Riza to when we made the second cut of that San Jose Earthquakes thing. I don't know if I ever said thank you for
Have
that.
you ever talked about that whole trip?
I don't
think you mentioned
have.
it.
Yeah, so we went. What was the first tryout at? Do you remember?
It was there.
Danville.
It was Danville.
I
And it was
That's
San
where
Jose.
I used to take Udi to train with the Earthquakes Academy. Remember, we would drive once a week.
Mm-hmm.
That fool would come home at 3 a.m. and then still be at school in the morning. And it was during season with Ericman, so he had to train. Danville.
Insane. Yeah, we went. It was in Danville. I don't know how many kids. 200 kids, 100 something kids probably showed up to
2,
that.
3, yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was a lot of kids, and it was you, me, Alan, Hector,
Junior Riza.
Junior Riza,
That was it.
and man, it was a tough competition. I just remember going and just seeing all these other kids, and I was just thinking small fish and big pond right now, and I was getting overwhelmed by like the whole moment. I was like, because I didn't really know about ID camps, I didn't know about all these academies, I didn't know anything about that. I just knew how to play ball. It's just it, right? The very bare minimum. So I go and I see all these kids, and I'm just like, what am I doing here, you know? But you remember you telling me, like, just go out, enjoy yourself, ball out. You guys are, you guys deserve to be here. And I did. I balled out. I just remember making a super long run, like from the back of like my goal all the way up to the other goal and scoring it. And I remember you came back, told me, he's like, you know why he pulled you aside right after? Because right after that I got pulled off. And the guy's like, hey, come talk to me. And he's like asking me, one of the coaches, I forgot who it was, but it's like, so what are your plans? What are you thinking about doing? And I was like, oh, I want to go to college after high school, but I mean, I don't really know. He's like, have you thought about going to San Jose, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's an option, definitely. Like, I haven't really like thought of where I want to go. So, and he's like, okay, cool. And he was just like kind of gauging where I was at. I remember you told me right after that, he's like, the reason that dude pulled you out was because you had that long ass run and he scored that goal. That's why he pulled you out. And then sure enough, I ended up getting a email a couple weeks later and saying like, okay, come back for round 2 and want to put you against like the other club team there. And man, then you drove us to San Jose, me and Junior, and dude, that was sick. That was so cool. And they put me on right back when I first started.
What did you try out as?
I'm pretty sure I was like left mid or left wing the first time I played. And then when I went there, they kind of grabbed all the new guys they had brought for round 2 over. And we put it all in a circle, and the coaches are going around, okay, what does everybody play? We need a left wing, we need a right wing, we need a striker, we need... There's like lining it up, right? It's like a 4-3-3 or 4, whatever, 4-4-2. And...
Did you just not raise your hand when they said mids?
Well, when the guy's like... He started from the back first, right? And then I didn't raise my hand, obviously, for the back because I don't play defense. I don't know anything about defense. And then he goes into the mids, and like immediately, I think that people just like raised their hand hella quick, and there's like, I'm left mid, I'm left mid. Like I remember there's one guy who was wearing like these bright green Nikes, and he was just so confident. He's like, that's my position. I play left mid, and that's it. That's all I'm taking.
So you should have done.
And so then they ended up going through the whole thing, and there was like 2 or 3 guys left, and he's like, we need a right back, and I was like, I'll play right back. And I was like, shit, I shouldn't have said that, but I was like, here I go, and I'm playing right back. And you told me I balled out, and I remember I played pretty damn good too. And I was like having so much fun. Like I just wasn't even thinking about it, but I was just playing well. And then at halftime, the coach comes to me and he's like, well, you said you never played right back before? I was like, no, it's my first time ever playing. He's like, okay, what position do you want to play? And that was like the sickest thing. And then of course I go and I blow it. I said center mid. And I don't know why I said center mid. I was so
What do you play?
Stupid. Left mid, but like I just said center mid. I don't know why.
He got his left and center mixed up.
And I disappeared second half, man. And it was so unfortunate because I was feeling it. Like I was on a high after that first half.
Those are the small things as players like you have to recognize. Like that would have been a moment where it's like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll stay.
I'm crushing it right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to change what I'm doing. I'm putting on a show. Those are the small things you learn, and the importance of getting to play anywhere on the field. I think that's one of the things I've learned the most is as a soccer player. Like nobody walks up to Rio Ferdinand and he says, "Oh, I'm a center back." No, he's not. He's a soccer player. Hey, you're not a forward or a striker or a midfielder. If somebody asks you, "What do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm a center mid." No, you're not. What do you do for a living? I'm a soccer player. You know, that's the most important part. You be a soccer player. Don't be defined by a position.
Yeah.
Kind of like in life, just be a good person. Don't be defined by your role or responsibilities.
I feel that.
So super important.
Yeah. But what did they tell you after?
I think you talked to the coach after, and they said, "Oh, both players, me and Junior, are like, oh, you guys are academy fit or academy ready."
Wait, how did Junior play? I don't think I've ever heard Junior.
I didn't
story.
see him. I was playing. So
He did well. Junior played in the middle. It's just he did junior.
Did you guys play in the same thing, or was it 2 different age groups?
Well, it was under 18 or under 16, and then under.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it was like 2 or 3 year difference for we were playing. So he played like down. There was like 2 different fields.
Oh, okay.
There's an upper field and a bottom field, and he played in the bottom. I played in the upper. And
Dude, Junior, man. Shout out to Junior.
Yeah, shout out Junior.
He was so much fun to play with. Dude, I remember when we played in
Dude, you guys went down there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
You guys went down there. Memo went down there and played with Forrest. Remember Forrest Gill? Memo and Forrest also went.
But they didn't go to the academy tryout. They went to
the open tryouts. And I played, and Yeti played.
Yeti went to,
I played against Yeti in the open tryouts.
Really?
Yeah.
Did anybody from that tryout get picked up? Not of here, but like just in
I
general?
don't know.
No?
I mean, I'm sure some maybe guys have made it to like practice squads.
Well, I think that's how Carlos Vaca got picked up by San Jose, right? At the open tryout.
But I
could have sworn.
Rafael Baca?
Yeah, did I say Carlos?
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Rafael Baca is he played professionally in Mexico. That's one of Shai's favorite players.
He was good.
He went back.
He was really good, man. Remember whenever we'd go to those games? Oh, yeah, you took us to games, too.
I never got to go to one of those.
Really?
I don't know why.
Man.
Yeah, I think it's because I didn't like San Jose. I was like, yeah, whatever. And now I'm like, dude, I missed that chance.
So ungrateful.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I remember you took us to, a bunch of games, always the season openers. And then one year we got to be ball boys. I remember that. And I forget who the goalie was, but it was for the New England Revolution, I want to say. And it was this white bald guy. Friedel? Brad Friedel? Was it? Bro, at one time, so we're ball boys sitting behind the goal, and me and Hector are sitting there talking, bro, and ball goes out for a goal kick, he turns around, he's like, ball, and Hector's like, oh, like he jumps, bro, and just gives him the ball. But they're so like in the zone, you know what I'm saying? Like they're so demanding, but it was just funny, and it was such a cool experience. And yeah, we do that almost like every year. Go to games. That was sick. How'd you get the connections to do that?
I met Anthony at one of the soccer youth conventions.
Who's Anthony?
Anthony Perry. He was front office. He's moved to Davis now. He's the smiley guy that you guys always saw. Actually, in the case when you guys went to be ball kids is when I told you, hey, your seats are somewhere else. Anthony will take you to your seats. I didn't tell you were.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
That's Anthony.
We just go and he's like, toss us some neon shirts here. Put these on. It says ball boy. I'm like, what?
Like, what's going on?
He lived again. That's live beautiful, play beautiful. We became like acquaintances and friends at the convention and stayed in touch. And then he got. The first trip was when they still played at Buckshot. We took 174 people from up here to Earthquakes game.
I remember one year we went and
with Coach Shepard and Dan Kelly and everybody.
And we were like sitting back because they used to play at was it Santa Clara?
At Buckshot.
At Santa Clara University. So they didn't have like their own field like they do now at Avaya.
Right.
And they would roll up by the arena. And they would go to like the locker rooms in there, and it was sick because one year we got to go back there because it's all like taped off, that like whole back part. And we got to be there while all the players were rolling up, and we got to get autographs from the goalie. Bush from Wando was there. It was sick, dude.
That was awesome. Holy snap.
What was Victor Bermudez? No, Victor the Bernardes, dude. Baller. Baller. And hella nice, bro. They're all rolling up with their wives and like they're pimped out Jeeps, bro, Range Rovers. Sick, bro. Their wives look like they're going to like a 5-star dinner, just like in heels and dresses.
I'm pretty sure that's the game that our kids were the player escorts. Shai walked out with Baca and
probably, yeah.
Kieran got Lenhart and
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, those were so much fun. And I remember after each game, I would always like, you just feel inspired after going to a pro game. You're just like, dude, like I could probably do that.
You want to do that, yeah. You see
like,
yourself playing there, yeah, for sure.
Dude, it was so much fun.
Kids need that
sick.
exposure. They need to be in those kind of experiences where you can kind of see yourself like, okay, like this is something I can work up to, you know?
That's the reason to do it. Like you have to go see it. You have to like believe it. It's kind of like going to see the pyramids or look at a picture of the pyramids in a book.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
But yeah, like that experience was sick. And like another time where I felt like that too was when the U.S. played Jamaica in the final of I think the Gold Cup. And I remember I was sitting like, I went with Rudy. It was like my sophomore year of college. I went with Rudy and some other kids that were on the team. And I just remember seeing Omar Gonzalez. This dude looked like a giant on the field. It's probably like 6'3", 6'4". And it's just so crazy to see like this time when you're there in the stadium packed with people, like I think it was what's the 49ers new stadium? What's it called?
Levi's.
We're at Levi's Stadium. And when you're packed, like, it's like everything's so slanted that it looks like you're looking down onto the field. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then once we were behind the goal, so like we had an angled view, and it was just so weird because the field looks so small and the players look so huge on it. And then there's like thousands of people all around. Like it's a sick environment, dude.
We watched Argentina play there.
For the what tournament is that?
The Gold Cup.
Is it the Gold Cup? No, it's the Copa America, right?
And
that's the one.
Shai was there when Mexico got thrashed.
Damn, dude.
He had his Mexico jersey on. He was like
zipping it up. Yeah, just takes it off, hands it to someone else. Like, does anybody want this? Dude, that's insane. I would have hated to be at that game. I would have just left.
I wouldn't have left, but
never leave.
I would have went out early, maybe.
Dude, that would have been so bad. So, what are your plans now? What are you planning on doing now? Because you took a break from coaching soccer.
I did.
And what do you want to do?
Right now, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm at home. I'm working I'm pretty grateful to have a job through all of this. It's been a struggle for a lot of families. So I'm doing what I want to be doing right now. What's next? Staying committed to Shy and the girls, and you know, I have one leaving high school here in a minute, one that's in the middle of high school, and one going into high school. So I've enjoyed being at home, and I think one of the benefits, if you're going to look at it, you got to look at the glass half full of this whole pandemic, because I've gotten to spend a lot of time with my kids.
Absolutely.
After 10 years on the road and youth soccer and traveling, it's been nice to just be at home.
Yeah, it's very true. And
getting tons of work done on the property.
Yes.
You guys have met Anne in passing. Wild Iris Medical Education, one of our first and probably one of our longest sponsors. She's done a lot for us and for families around here, so it's nice to just be at home and take care of my responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like soccer took the forefront for a long time, and my family and everybody was like, okay, we got it. Yeah, and we got a lot of support from that. So
yeah, it's
I hang out with my dog.
Nice.
Your dog like a tank,
Gatuso.
dude.
Yeah, he was
It's a
posting pictures.
monster,
around.
dude.
Yeah.
This thing scare me.
He's a big baby. He's
Yeah.
a giant baby, literally.
Yeah, but I was gonna. Okay, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But that whole coach, because I've seen it firsthand. Like we mentioned, you would take us to the tournaments,
Mhm.
and that's time. Like you said, like time over there is time away from your family. Like how hard is that? Because, like I've seen it. A lot of coaches at the next level, like you see that they're divorced, or you see that they're struggling with their families. You know, like they have a girlfriend, like they have kids with someone else because they can't be at home all the time. They're constantly traveling. They're constantly putting all their time and effort into something else. So I see that takes a toll on the family, the wife, the kids. Like how difficult was that throughout that whole process? Like putting all this, because essentially you're building like a project. You're building a foundation for other kids like myself and Gabe to kind of get to that next level.
I think, you guys met Christine and both the Shy sisters. They were always there. You know, Christine, and how many bake sales and fundraisers did she structure and function from start to finish for us and other people's parents and families. So for a very long time, it was all in, all of us. I think it started to get a little bit harder when we transitioned our program to MCSA. So my hours became longer and further away. And one of the main deciding factors in stepping away from the field was I needed to be at home. It was my time. 10 years is a long time on the road from up here, and like you said, it takes its toll on it, and it probably did. Not only with my relationship with Christine, with my wife, but with my kids, with my other two kids. My soccer career and Shy's soccer career seemed to go hand in hand, and as a father, that's difficult. You know, when we share something, and it was awesome, and it still is. But now I'm just his dad. When he transitioned to play for Santa Rosa United, I had his schedule, which was no longer under my control because I wasn't his coach. And then I had my schedule. So now soccer was two schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And that just became a lot.
And are you kind of happy that you've kind of stepped back, or do you feel like you miss it and you're gonna go back to it?
To say that I don't miss it would be a lie. It's something that I'm good at. I like developing soccer players. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And doing something that is fun is like, I think you kind of get to win if you're doing something that's fun. The evolution is inevitable. So I think taking a step back, I've learned a lot. I learned it on the backs of you guys. I've learned it on the back of my son. I've learned it on the back of hundreds of players that have gone through, that we've coached. I want more out of the game as a coach. Whether I'll get to that level or I'll get that, I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be something for me to strive for.
I feel that.
And for footy around here, I think I want to find more. I want to find a way to provide more opportunities like Chai has had. I want more kids to go abroad and go play.
Yeah.
I think just being that like connection, or just knowing the other coaches, is I wouldn't say enough, but it's a really good first step. You know what I'm saying? Just to have that one person that's like, well, I know this coach over here. Maybe I can send you over.
It's all about who you know.
Exactly. And that's kind of something that I've come to learn from like seeing that like next level. And that's super important to have that one person in your life that can kind of like you can use as a resource to kind of send you on to maybe somewhere that's a better fit for you. But I was gonna say one thing that I did admire about your coaching style is that you're very composed. Like I've had a lot of coaches that are like yelling and on the sideline trying to, and each coach has their style. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's true.
on the sideline coaching from the sideline or yelling or kind of doing whatever they got to do. But what I really liked about playing for you is that you were very kind of like you sit down, you would just analyze the game during the each half, and then you kind of like you do your coaching during halftime and then after the game. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that because I think at the beginning there for a while that was not who I was as a coach. And there's some kids, Shy, Enrique, Lily, Ben Rosen, Rudy, Russell. There's a whole squad right there that might see that a little different than what you have.
Mm-hmm.
But you got me as a high school age. Yeah. And the younger kids, it took me a while to learn to be a coach for younger kids.
Would you say that you were yelling a lot more or kind of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair though. Like at different age.
I don't think it's fair. I think direction within the game is good, but it's a player's game. That's the difference between American sports and soccer.
Mm.
Once the whistle blows, coach ain't got nothing to say, man.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's why I don't really understand why the professional coaches get so much flack at that level. I remember Shane told us one time, like, dude, at that level, those guys can coach themselves.
Yeah.
And then like when you see like the mic'd up, like I literally just saw one a few days ago of like Thierry Henry like mic'd up, and he's like sitting there just spouting things out. It's like these players probably can't even hear him.
No, he's just
You know what I'm
talking
saying? They're
trash for the hip.
Yeah, just for show.
Just
you know,
for
like they're
himself.
sitting up, like you see Pep Guardiola, like he's just like, I hate that guy. He's just doing it for the camera. And it's like these guys, the only time they actually listen is when you pull them aside and you like telling them what to do, or
One-on-one.
you send a player in and he's giving direction to what to do. But like once, like coaches getting blamed for a player's own goal or putting, like ultimately they have the say or they have like maybe the influence because they're the ones that are picking the lineup and stuff. But once the game starts, like the coaches have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I think coaches get held accountable, which is not showed in the media or not understood because we're a social media driven environment today, which has changed. I think where a coach gets held accountable is how good is your team playing or how bad are they playing, which means you suck at training or you're great at training. Like, and then in the monetary world of professionalism, it comes down to how much money could you spend or not spend. Did you buy the right players? Are they fitting in? There's so many factors that go into that.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, a coach gets held accountable. Like, are you getting thrashed every game? Well, then you suck as a coach, and we don't need you here. Like, see ya.
Yep. Results speak.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think it took me a long time to learn to be a youth coach. Like, that was hard for me. And because I was a parent, I was a dad, and I wanted them to do good. And I think as adults, we think if we tell them what to do all the time, they're going to do good. Come to find out, it's quite the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's a very selfless way to coach, because obviously you want people to like play the way you want them to play. But a lot of the times, like, you have to let these players do them. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of send them in the right direction, but let them do it their way. Mm-hmm. And a lot of coaches can't do that.
I think it's something I was strong at. As for me, be the artist. The field is your time to paint, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that I stuck to my guns, even when I was still learning. And then as a coach or as a person, you learn every day. So I'm still learning. But I think that was something that I stuck to. It was like on the field, whether it was Gabe with his ridiculous runs or, you know, Alan with his ridiculous tackles. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I was the culprit of one of those. It's letting the player express themselves, be creative, and then finding a way to work that so your team gets an identity. I feel like even as a team of nobodies, nobody knew who we were when we went to play. Win or lose, we were a tough team to beat.
Yeah, I remember there was
100%.
this tournament that we got first place, and it was that tournament where we played with the baby blue jerseys and the orange jerseys, and we smacked every single team. We smacked them. Kids from Johnny. I don't know if you remember Johnny from Marin, but he was one of the guys that we played in that tournament. He's like, dude, we remember, like, we didn't know who you guys were. We're just going to, like, this random place. And he's like, up north in NorCal. And he's like, and we just get smacked. And that was a tournament we played the 3-2-3-2. and we're training that formation for, I want to say, months beforehand, like easily 3 or 4 months beforehand, just training for one tournament a year, and we go and we win first place, and that was like the first time I was like, dude, that worked. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like, because nobody plays a three back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we're like, even as players, we're just like, dude, what are we doing? And then we play and we smack everyone, dude.
Yeah.
It was so sick, and it was so cool to see that everything that we trained for worked, and it was like you
Paid
get
off.
yes, you know what I'm saying, and like you earned it. And I remember that tournament, that was sick, because that was like, I think one of the only times we got first place.
Mm-hmm.
Every other tournament, like we would get smacked, especially that Redwood City one.
It was tough coming out of here, going to play, you know. Again, we didn't have player selection. It was like,
Very true.
all right, who wants to play? Cool, we got enough for a team. Let's go play.
The night before, we're getting people together. Like, all right, let's go play.
Dude, yeah.
You know, a tournament.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say earlier, Jay, and you're gonna disagree with me. I know you're gonna disagree with me, but the entire time that we were playing for Samurai, I was like, Jay, let's get the best players from my high school like league. Let's get them to play. Like we know some of them. Let's get them to come over here. And your answer was like, no, like it wouldn't be fair to the kids that are training here every single day. And I get that, but it like, we would be so much better if we can pull these kids from other teams.
We would have been, but would they have come to training?
They couldn't have.
Then they couldn't play.
But what if they're training over there?
Yeah, like what if they're training over there and
They're
they
not training with me, with my style, with my team, under my direction. Why should they earn playing time on my squad? Why should they take time away from our players? Because we were going to lose?
Yeah, I feel that. Okay, but anyways.
Playing time is earned.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Training. I can't have somebody show up who's putting in their best effort and then give that playing time to some kid who showed up to play on the weekend.
But, okay, and this is where I still disagree with you, is if they're putting in the work Monday through Friday and they're training and they're doing 2 hours and they're doing hill sprints and they're doing whatever they're doing, they're physically fit. And just because they can't physically be at the training session, why would you limit them to that?
How are you going to explain that to the kid that is at the session every day?
Well, it comes down to talent. It comes down to competitiveness. It comes down to wanting to win. And
That's
I get
cheating.
that.
That's ringers.
I don't know, man. I disagree. I disagree.
That's shy in the City League.
I disagree.
That's cheating. That's ringers. That's bringing in kids just to win. That's not how this game is played.
But it's
Well,
also having that connection.
Okay,
too.
but you mentioned the Sonoma tournament, and that's what we did, the Sonoma tournament. You hit me up like 2 days before, and you're like, hey, I got you a team. If you just pull players together, I was like, okay. So
That was a 5-a-side summer tournament.
7v7
7v7.
tournament.
No, it was 7-a-side. They needed teams. We went and played. Was it futsal or outside?
It was outside.
Outside, yeah. They needed teams, so we put together teams. Ben called us and said, hey, I need more teams for this group and that group. Okay, we'll do it. We went and played.
Dude, that was so much fun.
And we won. We went and played and won.
No, but yeah,
That was
I just
sick.
remember thinking, dude, if we could have done this the whole time, just get
I didn't
players
even
from all
coach that
around.
day. I was coaching Shai's team.
Yeah, Vic coached
Vic.
us.
Vic coached us.
Yeah.
He made
Shout
his
out
coaching
Vic.
debut, dude. Shout out to
Yeah.
Victor Hernandez, man.
Yeah.
Coaching debut and got the
We
dub.
balled out.
Got his first trophy as a
Wasn't
coach.
Wicho there?
Wicho was there. No, because you were training with them. So that we were going to mention that we met them through you. Because you were like, oh, I have these players from the team that want to play, that they're interested. And then we got like me, Gabe, Allen, Brendan, and Jesus. And then you got your boys. And then we just linked up, met like
Went
30
played.
minutes before and met and just, you know what I'm saying? Just balled out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so much fun. And essentially, like, if we could have done something like that, like at least training twice a week, like clubs in bigger cities do, that would have been so much fun too. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there would have been players that would have sacrificed an hour or two drive to come.
Mm-hmm.
Either here, we could have gone
I
somewhere
think
else.
you need more. I think you need 2 or 3 days of field session, weight training.
I agree.
and-
No,
Oh,
you
yeah,
need way more.
absolutely,
You
yeah.
need way more. But at the minimum, I feel like 2 days a week would have been enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get to play with these players. It's a competitive environment. And I agree, you need way more. But at that, you know what I'm saying? At that point, we're high school kids that don't know any of that. Going through the system and you're coaching it and you seeing everything, seeing your son go and play other places and the way they do it, like, yeah, we're not doing it the best way. But that could have been a possibility.
A lot of it has to do with as an individual who you are as a person too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with Shai, it was easy. I think he's taught me more about playing than I've taught him. It's just what he always wanted to do. But we talked about it the other day. He said that game, the Barca game, was a defining moment for him. But he says if he hadn't gone to that game, he would have found something else to do. He's an athlete. He's like, I'm an athlete. It's just part of who I am. If it would have been that game with soccer, then maybe I would have gone to an NFL game and I would have chosen to play that sport. He's like, I'm just an athlete. I think it's very good level of intelligence and self-awareness. He said, I have, a lot of people want to go to school or want to go do stuff, but I already have something I'm doing right now, and then I have the opportunity to go do that as well.
And that's what's so awesome is I think so many people go to college hoping that they're going to figure out what they want to do in those 4 years after high school, all that. He knows what he wants to do. You said at age 4, he told you, he's like, I want to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And it's like to be able to support that dream and that passion is
I feel like at some point
awesome.
The pressure was on because I had to figure out how to help him do that.
Yeah,
now
it's on you. You got to do it.
I was like, great, what do I do?
I was like,
Yeah,
I got to
man.
start. Yeah.
That's the difficult thing too. You're learning on the fly. There's no plan.
There's no blueprint for
There's
it.
no blueprint for it.
Parenting? No.
Everything that you're juggling, there's no blueprint for it.
For life, there's no blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
It's one day at a time. Just be the best person you can be. We make mistakes. Do the best to learn from those and acknowledge them, and grow from it, I think.
I feel that.
I think one of the coolest things about working at Safeway is I know 2/3 of this town or the coast. Either your
From
mom
going there?
from coaching, from soccer. I know 2/3 of the community that lives on the Mendocino coast through soccer, but I don't see everybody. And over the course of the past year, I've seen almost everybody: moms, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, dad, and everybody at some point. Thank you, hi coach, and it's like it really has impacted my life as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Who I was 10 years ago to who I am today is definitely
That's good.
put myself out there as a person, something that I don't know.
Do you feel like that's something that's very rewarding as being a coach, seeing your former athletes move on and do stuff?
Yeah.
Or what is the most rewarding, I should ask?
I don't think there's a definitive or a defining factor of rewarding, because every one of you is different.
Mhm.
Every one of you is doing something different, and the process is ongoing. So you guys have figured out something that you're enjoying, and it's sitting here doing this, and the people you've had on, everyone has been spot on, and every one of those interviews has come at a time where you need it. But I still have players that I raised that are just now graduating high school, or that I helped be a part of their life. So I don't even know where they're at yet. They don't know. So I think the rewarding is seeing everybody grow. Watching how people change.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we talk about all the time. You're like, you don't understand. Well, telling me personally, you're like, you don't understand how much of a pain in the ass you were. And it's true. It's true. Like, I was
Still
just...
are.
I think a couple weeks ago.
Well, I don't know about still, but I'm just saying.
A couple of weeks ago, I think it was one of those moments for me is I surf, and I've been it's part of who I am my whole life. Like my whole life from when I moved to Israel. I didn't surf in Texas. There's nowhere really to surf in Austin, Texas. And I was out in the water surfing, and then I looked around, and there was this, like 3 or 4 players that are Shemesh's age. So Shemesh's class, so 2005.
Surfing with you?
Yeah.
What?
That's so cool.
And I was like, what? And so a couple of them I didn't even recognize because they played for a while and then they stopped. But now they're going on 15, and I haven't seen them in 4 or 5 years, like on an everyday basis. So I didn't even recognize them.
Dang.
But I was out there like with Yoel and Dylan, and Keelan was out there, and I was like, what? They're out there paddling around with me. And those are little kids that were running around underneath your ankles when you guys were playing ball.
Mm-hmm.
They were the little rugrats, and now they're out. And that was one of those moments for me. I was like, wow, I've known these kids for 10 years of their life, and they're 15.
That must be such a good feeling.
It was funny. They're paddling. They're getting in the way. It's like, dude, you gotta
Get out of the way.
Hey, let me show you how to do
Kick
it.
them off their board.
Some
I
things
mean-
don't change.
We basically talked about everything. Do you have any questions for us before we finish?
Where are we going, Coast Boys?
Where are we going? What's the final plan?
Well, what was the idea to put this together? And you've sat down with some pretty important people in your lives, and friends and teammates, and people that everybody that I've seen is people that you respect, look up to, whether teammates or other coaches or people have influenced your life. So like, what's the concept? Where are you going? Like, I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to answer?
You start first, and I'll go after you.
Yeah, well, for me, I like to obviously have like long-term plan, but I mean short-term, just kind of taking it step by step. Each guest that I want to try to get on for us is, like you said, somebody that impacts our life. And essentially, the more we grow, the more as individuals, the more we kind of take steps towards our maybe career or something. Like, we're gonna keep coming across interesting people, a lot of people, you know, and we haven't even hit half the people that we have on the list. We haven't even communicated with them that we want them on as guests. So I would say definitely kind of continue to climb up the ranks of maybe people in CAL FIRE, maybe police officers, maybe the mayor, who knows, maybe somebody that's the CEO of a company. Just continue to kind of climb and see what advice they have for either myself or Gabe, maybe the principal, maybe another teacher, somebody that Gabe works with, who knows, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can be people like that, it can be someone that we met at the store, like, you know, continue to have that in terms of guests. Long term for the plan is just continue to, for the podcast, I should say, is continue to grow it, to just continue to grow our audience. That's our goal with every week, is just to expand our viewer count, our listeners, our subscribers, and then just kind of little by little just grow, and then to the point where we can eventually monetize, because that would mean to get to that monetization, you need to have a certain amount of listeners. And with there, just continue to grow your audience. So for me, that's our plan. I don't know about what Gabe thinks, but
For me, this whole thing has been about learning, giving back, and having fun. Really simply put, those are the three things. I've always wanted to learn more what someone else is doing, how somebody else grew up, how they kind of navigated their life to get to where they're at. The more I can learn about what they did, and then if someone else can learn from their story, that'd be awesome. So that's the giving back part. You know, we both talked about how we're first generation college kids, and we didn't have all these resources growing up, and some of us did, some of us didn't, but we're all trying to get to some point where we can be successful and be happy, and everyone wants that in life. So I definitely wanted to, if your interview or someone else's we done in the future, in the past, can help somebody who's maybe going through a similar situation, then hey, that's awesome. And then I love hanging out with Izzy, love going through this, doing different podcast episodes. So it's always been fun just chilling out, hanging out, and having fun.
it's lit.
Yeah.
It's lit. And honestly, I don't know if this would be like a career or something, you know, like this is something that's fun for us.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I would want to make this, because I wouldn't want to do this for work. I don't know if I would to do this full time. I'd want to do something else. And that's essentially what I'm exploring with school and other things that I got going on. But this for me is a really cool, like, fun side project that is becoming like a hobby, I should say. Like soccer is, like playing video games is with your friends. Like this is something that I feel like I'm getting something out of, and essentially, like Gabe says, to be able to give back. Like maybe just putting you on someone that wants to, in a small town, or somebody that wants to start coaching. Exactly. Maybe a parent that doesn't know what direction to go with their kid, then they're enjoying sports or something. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember one time, just along the lines of a parent being undecided of whether to put their kid in sports or not. I was in the speech class, and one of the speeches that I gave was it was a persuasive one, and it was convincing parents to why they should enroll their kids in sports. And it was all the benefits of exercise, all the benefits of sports, what they get out of it, what I've gotten out of it. And one of the parents after, I was like in this class with moms that were nurses that would go there doing school part-time. And one of them was like, I have my daughter in MCSA. And she was like, but to be honest, like up until this point, I was very undecided of whether I wanted to keep her in there, because it's like you said, it's time consuming. And she says it's fun for her, she enjoys it, but she doesn't understand how much effort it takes to get her to these tournaments every weekend, to constantly go and spend money, and to spend money on hotels, because that doesn't come out of MCSA, it comes out of the parents' pockets. And she was like, but I mean, after this, like, she was like, I understand, like, it's important for my daughter. She's like, but I'm going to keep her on. She wants to do it. But something as simple as that, you know, I did that in my speech in that class directly, but maybe if we were to talk about it in this podcast and someone were to listen, you know, whether it be a sibling of that kid that's going through that, or the parent themselves listening, I feel like that's a plus. You know what I'm saying? And all it takes is just one person to say something to change the way you think, or maybe to spark an idea, or to inspire you in a way. And that for me is the ultimate goal, like Gabe said, to inspire. And it's been cool, man, because we've gotten people that like come to us like guests, like, hey, this so and so hit me up, this person hit me up. They're asking questions like that is rewarding in itself, you know. And it's been, if it was like we always say, if it's one person that does that, then mission accomplished, you know. But it's luckily for us, it's multiple people that reach out, and whether they compliment us or whether they tell us, hey, like so and so reached out, like I'm gonna have a meeting with them this day, or I'm gonna have a phone call with them this day. That's always really cool to see. You know what I'm saying? Because we were in that position to where it was like, dude, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what direction to go in.
Exactly.
And I don't know who to ask.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you don't know who to go to.
Mm-hmm. You can't go to dad or mom, then who do you go to?
Yeah, that's like, or a lot of times maybe you're too timid. And the people that have told us, like the previous guests that we've had on that told us like, oh, hey, they reached out, like the way they reach out, it's like, hey, I'm just going to go out on a limb, or I'm just going to, you know, like who knows if this is going to work out. But a lot of times it does, you know, it just takes that one little spark of inspiration, like I said, to kind of just shoot your shot in a way.
So you asked me earlier what was the most rewarding as a coach and a mentor who's been in your life for the past 10 years. Here's one of those moments. So like every moment that we spent on the field, going to battle with each other, training, hardships, figuring out how to get to where we were going to play, came to this moment. And I get to live that every day, every other day.
That's awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and end it on that, Jay. I just want to say personally, or from the both of us, thank you so much, because every time we do post, you interact with our post, you share it, and that honestly helps us so much to grow. And that's something you don't have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just out of the kindness of your heart and just support for us. And I'm just really thankful for that. I just want to tell you man to man that I really appreciate everything you do, everything you've done for me.
Seriously.
I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you, man.
And I'm proud to have been part of your life.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun. There's more
I'm
to go,
not dying
man.
yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not over yet. All right, well, end it on that because you got to go to work. It's getting late. But thank you so much to everybody that listened, everybody that's watching. Catch you guys next time.